So when I was a kid, my grandmother used to come and stay with us every once in a while, and she had this weird thing where she would walk, and the way she walked was like this. Now, my grandmother's long dead, but she walked really duck-footed. Right? And I mean, I love my grandma, but it really just wasn't very attractive. I started to notice as I was developing in strength and in age, I started weight training, that I was starting to do the same thing. I developed my deadlift and my squat, my hips and my legs were getting much bigger, and then I started catching myself walking like this. And I know a lot of power lifters, you'll see, walking around, they walk like this. Guys that either have really big quads, really big thighs, really big nuts, whatever the case may be, they kind of walk like a duck. And I had flashbacks of my grandmother and said, fuck, I never want to walk like that because I thought it was so funny to see my grandmother waddling around like a duck. So besides the fact that if you have, a massive quads, and I happen to have really big legs, and even inside here, my hamstrings start getting really big and they even chafe sometimes. So that not being the case, in other words, that's not your problem, but yet you still have to have this, you have this problem where your posture is such that you're duck-footed, right? The problem is that you've got tightnesses in your hip that force that external rotation, which is quite dysfunctional. You're not going to be able to sprint, run, jump, squat, deadlift the way you really should with that type of imbalance. And I started noticing it in myself. And even though my legs were big, I was able to correct it. And it's funny, I wish I had videos of myself when I was in college, but you'll see that I was walking very differently than the way I walk now. Due to injuries, this foot still has a tendency, if I just close my eyes and do this foot has a tendency to rotate. See, this is actually straighter, this one's rotated. So, of course, I'm still dealing with it. And what I'd like to do in this video is to show you how I deal with that imbalance, especially before I go into performance, before I go into my training. There's a corrective stretch that I do to bring my toes back from duck-footedness. And I'd like to share it with you here. So the very first thing that you want to do is I find an upright or a wall or something I can lean against. And I'll do it on this leg because I'm much better on it in this leg because I'm not screwed up, but I'll show you both. You turn your leg in, turn your toe in, right? What I like to do is tighten the quad so that the knee doesn't take the torsion. You want the torsion to happen here in the hips. Then I take this foot and put in front. From here, it's important to get really tall. I like to pull my belly in so that I can stabilize my pelvis. Really important. By pulling your belly in, you stabilize the pelvis, and then you can get the stretch happening right inside the capsule there. And then it looks like this. And I feel the stretch deep within the capsule here, the ball and socket. This side, which is the side that I generally do way more than this one, again, you turn in, tighten the quad, boom, pull the belly in, stabilize the pelvis, and then turn away. So I'm going to turn this way. What you're really doing is you're turning the toe in and you're turning away from the direction that you're turning the toe. Boom. And this side is so much tighter. That being said, I've never seen anyone fully recover from muscle imbalances. It's always a matter of discovering your muscle imbalances and doing everything that you can to deal with it, handle it, make sure that you can you go about your life without it hampering your performance. So my stretches will always be my stretches. Once you get an assessment, you figure out what your corrective stretches are, they'll probably be yours for a lifetime. I hope that helps. Done.